Religion, no matter how we practice or what we believe, has always been at the core of human existence. It influences our values, shapes our worldview, and often directs the course of history. The idea of divinity, whether in one form or many, has guided civilizations for millennia. Most scholars agree that humanity's origins lie in Africa, so it's worth considering that the very foundation of religious thought may have sprouted from this continent. What does that mean for the origins of African religion, and how did it shape the course of human civilization? Let's explore this fascinating topic today. In this video, we'll look at the work of Desi Aboeian, a scholar whose perspective on African religion offers a profound way of thinking about the religious traditions that emerged in Africa. Aboeian's ideas challenge many Western assumptions about the development of religion and encourage us to rethink how African spirituality has evolved over time. One of the first points that Aboeian raises is that many African languages do not have a specific term for religion. In contrast to the way religion is understood in the West, where it's often seen as a distinct set of beliefs and practices, African spirituality is much more interwoven with daily life. In many African cultures, religion is not something that's separated out or compartmentalized but is part of a larger worldview that governs all aspects of existence. Religion, therefore, was not merely an activity to participate in for an hour every week, but something woven into the fabric of everyday life. Spirituality was tied to family, community, land, and even the environment. In traditional African thought, the sacred was not distant. It was embedded in everything around us. Life itself was considered a continuous interaction between human beings and the divine. This worldview, Aboeian notes, doesn't divide spiritual life from the mundane, but rather integrates them. Monotheism versus polytheism, the African pattern. Many Western scholars have traditionally categorized African religions as either polytheistic or animistic, often focusing on the numerous spirits, deities, or ancestral figures that feature in African religious practices. This view simplifies African spiritual life and doesn't do justice to the complexity found in many African belief systems. Aboeian, however, argues that the concept of one supreme God, a creator deity, is not foreign to Africa at all. While many African religions do include a pantheon of spirits, ancestors, and deities who handle specific concerns, there is always a recognition of a singular, overarching deity responsible for creation. In many African traditions, this god is seen as distant, often too powerful or transcendent to interact directly with the day-to-day struggles of human life. For example, the Yoruba people believe in Olodumare, the supreme creator, but their day-to-day worship centers on a series of deities known as Orishas, who govern various elements of life. This doesn't mean the Yoruba are polytheistic in the sense often understood by Westerners, as their belief in Olodumare as the ultimate source is central to their theology. This pattern is strikingly similar to what we see in later world religions, such as Christianity or Islam, where a supreme god is worshipped alongside lesser divine beings, such as saints, angels, or spiritual intermediaries. Aboeian suggests that African religious patterns may have influenced these later systems, which also combine the worship of a singular god with the reverence of other divine entities. Why did religion begin? Theories on the origin of religion in Africa. So, why did humans begin to create religious systems in the first place? What prompted the emergence of spiritual thought? Aboeian discusses several prominent theories on the origin of religion, and these can be applied to understanding the development of religious thought in Africa. The psychological theory suggests that religion arose to deal with fears and anxieties, especially about death, the unknown, and natural forces. Early humans may have created gods or spirits to help explain the mysteries of life and provide comfort in uncertain times. Then there's the intellectual theory, which posits that religion emerged as humans sought to understand the world around them. Early religious systems may have been an attempt to make sense of natural phenomena, life cycles, and cosmic events, developing concepts of deities, spirits, and divine laws to explain these mysteries. However, Aboeian finds the emotional theory to be the most compelling. According to this theory, religion was born not out of intellectual reasoning, but as a response to human emotion. Early humans used spiritual rituals and beliefs to cope with the emotional turbulence of their lives, fear of the unknown, grief, or anxiety over survival. Religious practices such as dances, chants, and ceremonies were methods of coping with the harsh realities of existence. Aboeian suggests that if we view religion in Africa as an extension of the social fabric rather than a distinct system apart from daily life, we get a clearer picture. Religion wasn't merely a matter of belief, it was an integral part of the collective experience of life. This perspective allows us to see African religion less as an abstract concept and more as a functional, lived experience. The role of ancestors and spirits in African religion. In addition to the belief in one supreme God, many African religious systems emphasize the importance of ancestors and spirits. Ancestor veneration is a central tenet in many African cultures, as the dead are believed to continue influencing the lives of the living. Spirits, whether of ancestors, nature, or other entities, act as intermediaries between the people and the divine. For example, the Ashanti of West Africa believe that ancestors continue to play an active role in the community's well-being, offering guidance and protection in exchange for respect and honor. Similarly, in the Zulu religion, spirits of ancestors are called upon for protection, advice, and blessings, maintaining the balance between the spiritual and physical realms. This connection to ancestors often manifests through rituals, offerings, and ceremonies aimed at ensuring harmony and favor from the spiritual realm. These rituals don't just address the immediate concerns of the living but ensure the well-being of future generations by maintaining the cosmic balance between the living and the dead. Monotheism and Africa's contribution to religious thought. Perhaps the most profound impact that Africa has had on religious thought is the concept of monotheism, the belief in one supreme God. While many may associate monotheism with Western religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, it's important to recognize that Africa was the birthplace of this idea. The earliest documented monotheistic belief system in recorded history comes from ancient Egypt, where Akhenaten attempted to establish the worship of Aten, the sun disk, as the one true God, some 3,500 years ago. Although Akhenaten's reforms were short-lived, his attempt to focus on a singular God represents an early form of monotheism that would later influence world religions. Moreover, the Nubians, in their own religious traditions, worshipped a singular God before the advent of Christianity or Islam. The belief in one God, though often overshadowed by more complex pantheons, is an important and central theme in many African religions. Rethinking African religion. What Aboeian helps us realize is that African religion cannot be reduced to simplistic labels or dichotomies like polytheism or animism. Instead, African spiritual thought is a sophisticated, holistic worldview that integrates the divine into every aspect of life. The belief in one supreme creator is foundational, but it exists alongside the worship of deities, ancestors, and spirits who help to maintain the balance of the world. By examining African religion in this way, we can challenge our preconceived notions of religious development and begin to understand the role that African spirituality has played not only in the continent's history but in the religious evolution of the world. African religious thought has always been deeply connected to the material world, offering a framework for understanding existence and human interaction with the divine. Conclusion. The origins of African religion are complex, multifaceted, and deeply rooted in the history and culture of the continent. While we may never pinpoint a single place or moment in time where religion first emerged, scholars like Aboeian provide us with the tools to better understand how African spirituality shaped not only Africa but the world. The concept of a supreme God, the role of ancestors, and the integration of religion into daily life are all fundamental aspects of African belief systems that continue to influence religious thought globally. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, consider supporting the channel by likes and subscribe where you can gain access to more in-depth content on African history and religion. The link is below. Until next time, honor your ancestors, stay curious, and continue exploring the rich world of African spirituality.